Alright guys, so in this video we're gonna be installing Django on our operating system. So let me drag that one to here because that's the task we are going to be focusing on right now. Alright, so we need to install Django onto our operating system, but before we could do that, we have to check to see if Python is already installed because Django is developed with Python. And if you are using operating system like Linux, chances are that you already have Python installed, but it's probably not going to be the latest version of Python. So the way we have to do is to check the installation of Python if it already exists, and also know the version of Python. So the way we are going to check the installation is going to be the same for all operating system, being it Windows, Linux, or Mac. So I'm just going to be opening my command prompt. So on Linux and Mac, you're going to be opening your terminal. So I'm going to type cmd like this. Then I'm going to open my command prompt. So I'm going to zoom in a bit for you to see clearly. And what you're going to be typing, the command is going to be Python. Then we say dash version. And if you see a number appear here, Python 3.12, that is the version of Python installed. We could also do a shorthand like this, Python, then dash capital V, and it's also going to give us the same thing. That is an indication that Python is already installed. But if you run it and you run into an error, it means that Python is not installed, and you're going to need to visit python.org. So you're going to need to visit python.org/downloads, and it's actually going to open this page for you where you can actually install Python. So it's actually going to select your operating system. It's actually going to select your operating system, and you can now download the version of Python you want. So you could even, now I'm on Windows, so it has actually selected Windows, but you could also download for all other operating systems like Linux and others. Okay, so you're gonna now have to go through the installation how you normally do an installation of any other software. And once you have done the installation, we now need to install our virtual environment. So the way we're going to do is, let me actually explain what virtual environments are. So think of virtual environment as a container that is going to make our project, the dependencies of our project, private from other projects. So I could be running different versions of other dependencies with different projects, and it's not going to conflict because each project with its dependencies are self-contained, and we don't want it to conflict with others. So we don't want to install any dependencies system-wide. Okay. So to do that, I first of all have to think about where I'm actually going to do the installation or going to create my project at. So I'm going to go to the desktop. That's where I want to create a project at, but you could actually create your project at any part. So my desktop is here, and that is where I want to create my project. So first of all, I'm going to cd into desktop like this. Now when I list, you're going to see these two things that is on the desktop. So I'm going to clear my screen like this. And now what I could probably do is to make a directory. So mk there. You could also create it manually, and our project is going to be called Swift Hub. So I'm going to create Swift Hub workspace like this. So create it, and now if you look at my desktop, you have a folder called Swift Hub workspace. So I'm going to cd into Swift Hub workspace like this, and that is where I want to create my virtual environment. All right, so now we need to create our virtual environment, and to create a virtual environment we need to run this command. We're going to write python -m, and now we can say venv, and this venv actually is the command for creating a virtual environment. Then the next argument is going to be the name we want to give to our virtual environment. So suppose I want to be very descriptive, I could say Swift Hub, because that's the name of the project, venv. That is very descriptive, so that we know that this is the name of our virtual environment for the project. but I'm gonna go with something simple and make it venv. So this command, we are using Python to create a virtual environment, and the virtual environment is gonna be venv, like the command we are using to create a virtual environment. So now when I click on enter, it's gonna take some time to create our virtual environment. So let's wait for it to be created, and after it is created, we're gonna activate it. All right, so now our virtual environment is created. So I could even go into the Swift app workspace, and now we are seeing venv. So inside the venv, we have script. That is what we want to go after. Okay, and inside it, we are also seeing activate. All right, so on Windows, what we're gonna be doing is to cd into venv, and inside the venv, on our list, we are gonna have script and all that, like I showed you in the folder. So you're gonna cd into scripts, and then when I do there, we have activate. So this is what we want to go after. So you're gonna say activate, and this is actually gonna activate our virtual environment. So notice the difference. Before we did the activate, it was like this, and now that we have done the activate, our virtual environment is actually enclosed. That is an indication that we are in a virtual environment. Now our dependencies, everything we install, is going to be self-contained. So if you are using Mac, you're going to use source to activate your virtual environment. All right, guys, so now I just want to cd back like this, and now I'm in my workspace. So the purpose of the video is to install Django onto our operating system, and what we're going to use to install Django is pip. Pip is actually a package manager for installing dependencies or packages for Python. That is what we're going to be using. So pip comes pre-installed with Python. When you install Python, you're going to have pip already installed. So to check the version of pip you're using, you can also run a command like this: pip, sorry about that, pip, and we're going to do dash version like this, and it's going to take a moment, and it's going to tell us this is the pip version we are using, pip 24.this, and it's for Python 3.12. You could also do the shorthand like we did with Python and say capital V, and sorry, pip dash v, capital V, and it's going to give us a version of pip already installed. Now that we have pip installed, I'm going to clear my screen like this. Now we could go ahead and install Django, because Django is what we're going to be using to develop our application. So I'm going to use the command pip install, and we're going to say Django. All right, so let me explain this command. If you have a specific version of Django you want to install, you can do Django equals, and you bring the version, let's say 3 or something, you can bring it. But when I do this, install Django like that, it's actually going to install the latest version of Django for me. So I'm going to hit on enter like this, and now it's going to use pip to install Django. So it's now collecting, and the size of Django is 8.3. So it includes the Django itself and all other dependencies that Django is going to use. So let's wait a moment, and all our installations will be done so that we can proceed to the next part. All right, guys, so now Django is actually installed. We are also seeing that there's a newer version of pip available, and the way we can do is to copy this command if you want to upgrade. So I'm going to type it: python .exe and -m. I'm going to use pip install, and what we're going to be doing is --upgrade, and we upgrade what pip. So let's wait for pip to be upgraded. So now it's actually going to uninstall the version 24.0, and it's going to download the newer version. I don't know the newer version. Okay, so I think the newer version will be downloaded, and then it's going to be installed. So now it has successfully uninstalled this version of pip. So we wait for it to install. Okay, now first it was 22.0, and now we have 24.3.1. So this is the version of pip installed. Okay, so pip actually comes with a command to actually know the things that are saved into your virtual environment. So you can do pip freeze, and it's gonna tell us all the dependencies that are being installed. So we have installed this package. I think all these packages come with Django. All right, so Django also comes with some command. All right, so Django, let's check the version of Django that is installed. So you can say Django dash admin, and we can say dash dash version, and now it's telling us that we have installed the version 5.1.4. All right, guys, so we were able to verify the installation of Python on our operating system using a command, and we also checked to see if pip is installed, and pip was actually installed. After everything, we were successfully able to install Django.